Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's 27 Minutes right here on UPN 27. Indiana's First Lady brought her millennium message to 4 southwestern Indiana communities on Wednesday. One of the stops was in Jasper, and Tony Frick was present at Jasper City Hall to hear from Judy O'Bannon.
Walk, a bridge to nature and good health.
Jasper's Mayor Bill Schmidt welcomed Indiana's First Lady Judy O'Bannon, introduced the city's own Millennium committees and project plans, and received a special Millennium toolbox filled with tips and resources.
In May of next year, we will dedicate a river walk, which was made possible through the generosity of a local businessman in conjunction with the local Batoka 2000 organization.
For Jasper, Millennium events and projects are planned with an idea of bridging the past with the future.
Another project is travel to the sister cities, bridging our two communities. In June of 2000, Mayor Schmidt will lead a delegation to Jasper's sister city, Pfaffenweiler, Germany. The traveling members will be housed in the homes of local Pfaffenweiler residents.
Preparing for the future through exploring our past and building a sense of community in the now is one part of the Hoosier Millennium message that Governor O'Bannon's 25-member Hoosier Millennium Task Force carries with them.
4th of July, bridging the communities in Du Bois County. In July, we plan to celebrate America with the other communities in the county. This will be an event that will help all of us work together and strengthen each other.
Indiana's First Lady Judy O'Bannon chairs the Hoosier Millennium Task Force.
Infrastructure, and you're going to make buildings look better and roads work better. But I think that it is in the doing things that we really become a community. And so we'd said on the Millennium program, it's communities building community. That sense that this is my place. I live here. I help build it up. I have responsibility and I have opportunities. And all of that gives you hope. And so if you look at this Millennium time and you ask yourself those 4 questions and you figure how you can then fulfill your vision for the year 2016. And you know why then? That's the 200th birthday of the state of Indiana. So you see, you look at the Millennium as a launching pad.
The 4 questions that Mrs. O'Bannon asked all in the community to explore on New Year's Eve of the year 2000 and throughout the years to come as we build those communities are: where did we come from as a community? Who are we today? What is our vision for the future? And how to make that vision a reality.
But I think we have such an opportunity to look to the future in this. So what we're doing in the statewide is looking to the future, but that isn't at all as important as what you're doing in local communities and really actually building your future and building it together. So I want to give you the...
Mrs. O'Bannon presented the mayor and the city with a toolbox, but not of metal nor on computer disk, although the idea was to offer icons.
You know, what of our past helps us to discuss our past and what things to put in. And the icon box sort of does that.
Icons that represent part of Indiana history and its livelihood.
And I haul this all over the state. You see, and the tag on this, a piece of wood furniture, how hardwood, what has the hardwood industry meant to us in the past?
Her Millennium message was not reserved just for the community committee.
It means like this, and this is the 77th community I've brought a toolbox. Often people say, yeah, but old lady, what is it you want us to do? And I have to say, I don't know what you can do, and I don't know what you should do. And you don't know all the things you can do, I don't think, till you sort of ask yourself those questions. You can ask those New Year's Eve kind of questions as a whole task force. You can do them in a school, a church group can do them, a business can do them, a neighborhood. You can do it by yourself when you're just trying to pass time sometime. Where have I come from? What happened before this day that brought me to this place in this condition? And then where are we today? What do we look like? What are we doing well? What are we not doing so well? What have we not even thought about? And what is our shared vision for the year 2016? You see, I don't want us to end up somewhere and say, if I'd known we were going to be here.
In addition to the toolbox, Mrs. O'Bannon presented a $10,000 check to the Emmanuel Lutheran Church Cemetery Association. The grant from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, DNR, will assist them in their efforts to preserve a former church building from 1901 and an adjacent schoolhouse.
And this is a picture of the church.
It's one of 25 grants announced by Governor Frank O'Bannon last week.
For the state grant.
And you had to match it 10,000 for 10,000. Have you cooked a bunch of noodles and chickens?
Awards went to local government agencies, educational institutions, and not-for-profit organizations that provide matching funds for their projects.
I think when people build up, they just don't tear down. I have not 1 inch of a second of a notion that any of your kids will either, because they've seen you build up and they feel.
The DNR's Historic Preservation Grants Program is made possible through the annual funding from the National Park Service. Following the formal presentations in City Hall, Mayor Schmidt was offered an opportunity to add his signature to the Hoosier Millennium Motorhome.
You're on one of these, aren't you? Who's the artist there?
You are? Artists representing the community also took markers in hand to add their artistic touches. Indiana's First Lady takes pride in the masterpieces that have been drawn on her Hoosier Millennium RV. They may be stick people, but they symbolize Hoosier Millennium's focus on bringing people together. Tony Frick, TV 27 News.
We will have more 27 minutes after this.
Hello again, this is John Shorgan, the staff of the Indiana House of Representatives, and we're back with another update on the 1999 session of the Indiana General Assembly. And once again joining us from Milltown is State Representative Denny Oxley from the 73rd House District. Denny, it's St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Good afternoon, John. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you, and as you'll notice, I'm wearing my festive green sport coat today, and everybody's celebrating the holiday in fine fashion at the State House.
Yes. As we come to you, we have just wrapped up one of those extensive floor sessions that lasted all of about 10 minutes.
Right.
And floor sessions have been pretty quiet the last week or so, haven't they?
Ever since last Monday, our session time has been very, very limited, and that's due to the fact that we're in the process right now of waiting for Senate bills to come to the House, House bills to go to the Senate, and essentially it's just like starting the process all over again. We're doing many of the same things that we were doing at the beginning of session. Committee hearings, tracking of bills, things of that sort.
Okay.
Yeah.
While it might not seem, just on the basis of floor action, that we're doing a lot, for legislators such as yourself, this is as busy a time of the year as it is for anybody else because you have to keep an eye on both chambers, right?
Absolutely. Although we're not spending the amount of time on the House floor that we were before, and there before that Monday deadline, a week or so ago, we were spending upwards of 12, 14 hours a day here on the House floor. We're not doing that now, but as you said, we are remaining as busy because me, for instance, I had 4 bills, pass out of the House. Those have gone to the Senate. It's my responsibility now to follow those bills, to ensure that the Senate sponsors over there are able to secure hearing dates.
Right.
And it's, like I said a while ago, it's just like starting over again. I want to see those bills get through committee, and I want to see them pass the Senate. So I'm tracking those bills now, and we're also taking a very close look at all the Senate bills that are coming to the House as well.
Right.
We're reviewing those and seeing what our interests are there.
Okay. You'll be testifying in Senate committees, much as you have been in House committees throughout the next few weeks, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of the bills that I have authored in the House that have gone to the Senate and even co-authored, I will be testifying on behalf of those bills and in favor of those bills when they're in committee hearings in the Senate.
Yeah. Let's give them a quick lesson here on some of the terminology we have to use.
Okay.
Bills that you handle in the House, you're the primary author of.
Right.
When they get over to the Senate, the primary person who handles them is called the sponsor.
Right.
The reverse is true for Senate bills. They're authored by a state senator. When they come over here and you handle it, you're the primary sponsor.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about one of those bills that has some importance for people in your district. It involves the Washington County landfill. Tell us about that.
Right. Senator Becky Skillman and Senator Jim Lewis co-authored a bill which would really help the situation that the citizens in Washington County are experiencing. I share Washington County along with those senators. They're having problems with the landfill up there, and the Department of Environmental Management has really come down on the Washington County landfill very hard. They're attempting to close it, and that would be devastating to the residents of that county. They would be forced to increase their cost for trash removal, for waste disposal, and plus I've yet to see any tangible evidence that shows that anything they're doing over there is harmful to the environment.
Right.
But that bill, they were fortunate. It passed the Senate with a 50-0 count. It was unanimous vote. That bill has come to the House. I am the primary sponsor of that bill. It's my job now to see to it that that bill gets through the House. I have spoken with the committee chairman. The bill was assigned to the Environmental Committee. I've spoken with Representative Sturts. He's assured me that we will be having a committee hearing on that bill. I will be testifying on behalf of the bill, as will Senator Skillman, Senator Lewis, and we're really hopeful that we can get this bill through the House and it can become law.
Okay. Perhaps a different fate is in store for one of the favorite bills that we've always talked about since we started doing these reports.
Right.
Chances are dim right now, to put it kindly, for your pickup truck bill.
Yes, I have to agree with you, but it's very frustrating too that the chances are dim. I researched that topic in depth, and I found that of the 92 counties in the state of Indiana, John, 75 of them would benefit from that bill. 75 would receive increased funding for road distribution.
Without a tax increase.
And there would only be, without a tax increase, absolutely. There would only be 17 losers throughout the state of Indiana. Unfortunately, those 17, and we've talked about this before, those 17 counties are represented by urban areas. Urban legislators control the Senate, and that bill was dead on arrival when it hit the Senate Finance Committee. That disturbs me a little bit. That's not going to keep me from filing it again next session. And I also might add, it's not going to keep me from doing a few other things this session to try to get it passed.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
We have about a month to handle Senate bills. However, even if, as the Senate hearing our bills. However, simply because they refuse to kill a bill doesn't mean it can't stay alive for this session. All it really has to do is pass one chamber.
Absolutely, absolutely, that is true. With the pickup truck legislation that you and I were talking about earlier, there are going to be bills that come to the House from the Senate that deal with transportation issues.
Right.
They're going to deal with highways. They're going to deal with highway funding. That sounds to me like a prime location to stick an amendment in that would include pickup trucks as well. And I'll probably do that.
Where it gets from there remains to be seen.
Right. I can't guarantee what will happen, but I think it's an important issue. I think that it's one that needs to be at least considered, and the Senate has refused even to do that. And I'm going to attempt to pursue this, and if I have to try to amend the bill to do it, I will.
Okay.
We will have more 27 minutes after this. Yes. You're watching 27 Minutes here on WJTS UPN 27. TriCap's Community Action Project's Teen Wellness Center sponsored a health fair at Jasper High School earlier.
When it comes to our personal safety and health, sometimes we find ourselves facing the unknown. That could be risky or spell tragedy if we don't know where to go to get help. It also is one reason TriCap's Community Action Project's Teen Wellness Center sponsors health fairs at the 4 county high schools.
Chin goes down in here. Okay.
Wellness coordinator Leah Tooley helps man the fishing booth at Jasper High School and is a strong advocate of keeping health education around.
If I want to quit smoking, where can I go? If I'm getting sick, who can I go to? Who can I talk to? Basically, we have about 28 vendors that are here today, and most of the health services that are offered in our community. We feel that learning about health, your physical health, your emotional health, is just as important as learning about math or reading or English.
Hey, a little bit loud there. A little bit loud, so you want to turn it down a little bit, okay?
We know that the earlier people learn how to take care of their health, the less problems they'll have later on in life.
Leah held no prejudice when it came to volunteers and companies represented at the fair.
I think all of the booths are popular, and one reason they are is because there's hands-on things for kids to do at each of the booths. They're seeing what it's like to be in a wheelchair. They're fishing for questions and answering them. They're doing things, hands-on stuff.
What are these guys doing?
Flexibility, and I think they're seeing how much you can like squeeze or something. I'm not sure.
What did you just finish doing?
Flexibility.
I'll put the helmet on you while he's finishing that up.
Some booths called for more than hands-on. One might need all 4 limbs to get the feel of some risky realities. Jasper Fire Department's Mike Stewart, Scott Schnell, and Captain Kenny Hoaxang were suiting up students, and it wasn't so they could feel a smoke-free environment.
Find your way around. We brought our fire gear out, our turnout gear, and some air packs, and we're giving the students a chance to see what it's like, what we go through anytime we're called to a fire. So we're letting them suit up and put the air pack on and let them crawl around a little bit and get a feel for what we do. We covered the mask up today so they can't see, and that's what we face anytime we go into a fire. We cannot see where we're going. So we put some paper in the mask, covered up a little bit, and then they can't tell where they're going either.
For a fireman, what would you say the biggest dangers in handling and going to a fire call are?
The biggest danger is the unknown. When we crawl into a building, you don't know what's inside there. You can't see where you're going, and you never know what's inside that building.
All right. Now, kneel down.
While some students explored the unknown danger of a fireman's world, the state police and Jasper Police offered others a chance to see the world a little differently with special goggles. So what's going on here?
Behind me we've got kids from Jasper High School. They're using what we call fatal vision goggles, and it gives the impression of an intoxicated person at 0.08 to 0.10. Kids are having a lot of fun with it.
Some of the challenges for facing the unknown involve being truthful with yourself and with others.
We're the Crisis Connection booth, and we have tons of our material out. We also have some material from Albion and Evansville. We're asking the students to fill out a dating violence checklist, and we'll send these off and have them analyzed, and we'll have a pretty good idea of what the dating violence is here at Jasper High School.
Tony Frick, TV 27 News.
We'll have more after this. Okay. It's now time for today's homeowner, brought to you by Kremp Lumber Company in Jasper.
You know, many times when you can remove molding and be real careful with it, it makes good economic sense on a remodeling project. But you have to be careful when you're removing it, and that starts with a good sharp razor knife. You want to score the top of the board that you're removing, in this case the baseboard. Next, you take your flat bar, you drive it in behind it. Then be real careful not to pry against the wall, but use a little block behind it, and then you can pry safely against the block. Then continue with the flat bar to move it along like that. Now once you get the board off, you want to be careful not to drive the nails back through. If you do, it can damage the front of the board. Instead, take some pliers and just pull the nail from the back side like that, and that can really keep the front surface of the board in great shape.
In sports this week, the only athletic director Southridge High School has ever known will be stepping down and retiring after this current school year. Jim Bardwell has been the athletic director at Southridge since 1972. Before being AD, Bardwell taught and coached at Huntingburg High School. His 1970 football team went 9-1, while his 71 baseball team won the sectional and regional title. Bardwell presided over one of the best sectionals in all of Indiana as far as attendance and being run, and he also was around when the Raiders captured the state girls basketball 2A title last year, as well as boys trips to the Final Four in '85 and '86. Of course, we wish Mr. Bardwell the best of luck in his future endeavors. Southwest DuBois County Schools hope to have a new AD in place coming up in the next couple of weeks. That will wrap things up tonight for 27 minutes here on WJTS UPN 27. Have a great weekend.